Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Harmony and Strength Show. Our goal is to promote health and well-being in the various areas of life and to educate and empower you with holistic information for optimum living. I am Simbi.
And I'm Halim. Together,
we are Harmony and Strength.
Strength.
Now, as we begin, we want to invite you to like our Facebook page at Harmony and Strength, and make sure you visit our website at www.qualityheartbeats.com to partake in some of our beneficent offerings for your optimal enjoyment of life. And also, what we're going to do right now is we're going to share our commercial with you right now.
Come, experience the wonders of Sweet and Tight. We follow nature's way by going deep at the cellular level to pull toxins out of your body, leaving you fresh as spring. A freshness that carries the hypnotic fragrance of pheromones, producing a sweet surrender. When used regularly, this special blend of fruit extracts will allow you and your partner to enjoy the continued sweetness of your feminine nectar. Order now at www.qualityheartbeats.com.
Yes, so go to our website, www.qualityheartbeats.com. Check out that new product, Sweet and Tight. We're getting some great reviews on that. So we have a wonderful, wonderful guest with us this evening, and her name is Monique Ruffin. Did I pronounce your name correct, Monique?
Yes, you did. Monique Ruffin.
All right, Monique Ruffin. She
Yes.
received her license as a spiritual practitioner from the Agape Institute. She has a master's degree in spiritual psychology from the University of Santa Monica and is a licensed feminine power coach from Juju Mama Love Academy. So let's welcome Monique Ruffin. How you doing today?
I am doing great. Thank you so much for having me, Simbi and Halim. I love being with you both.
Yes.
Yes, it's our pleasure and our privilege.
Thank
So
you.
before we get started, Monique, go on and share your contact information so people know how to contact you.
Okay, great. So you can find me on Facebook at Monique Ruffin. And you can send me all sorts of private messages there. You can also find me on Instagram at Monique Ruffin. It's at Monique Ruffin. And then I have a website, MoniqueRuffin.com. And that's R-U-F-F. It's Monique, M-O-N-I-Q-U-E, Ruffin, R-U-F as in Frank, F as in Frank.com. And you can send me a message through there as well.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So we have an important topic tonight that we're dealing with pertaining to healing wounds. And well, Monique, go on and explain to us, you have a course coming up that's pertaining to this actual topic that we're speaking about. Explain to us about this course.
Yes, so I have a course that it starts May 8th. We're in early registration right now, and it's called Finding Our Mothers, Healing the Original Wound, as in like a sore, like a wound, not the original womb. And the class is focused around basically healing our relationship to the feminine and how that relationship showed up in when we were young, when we were growing in our mother's wombs and becoming who we're going to be based upon what was going on in her life, and how those energies and those ways of being are still impacting us today if we haven't done the work to heal ourselves.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Powerful work that you're doing. And, I personally have a lot of work to do around that area. So I'm happy to have you here and have you talk about the impact of that mother relationship and how it affects us, as human beings, and specifically men and women.
Right, right. And I will say that, of course it shows up different for men than it does for women because um for women, for men, your mother is your first love. And
Mm,
so oftentimes that means that she was your first heartbreak, generally. And so what we don't understand about our biology and our spirituality is that um the womb is the place where a woman carries all of her despair and distress um and angst and emotional dis-ease. And then when you get into relationship and you have a child, that child is being gestated in the energy of whatever was going on with that mother.
mm,
And so if your mother, during the pregnancy with you, or just in her life period, was dealing with things that were really stressful or uncomfortable, or if she felt unsafe, if her environment wasn't one that was peaceful and harmonious, whatever was going on with your mother was then infused into the child in the womb, and creates hormones and frequencies and energies that create distress. And so when you're born, you come out, you're born into this plane, into this existence, and you already are working out or being processed or dealing with things that most infants don't really have the wherewithal to handle, right? You're just at the effect of the adults. And if those adults have trauma and they don't have the resources or the understanding to heal themselves, then that trauma then gets passed down to children. And for women, you meet women often, I do, who don't get along with other women. Why? Because they didn't get along with their mothers.
mm,
And that kind of thing. Then so they have an aversion to the feminine. You meet men who have had things. I have a male friend of mine, and he shares a story. I haven't heard him say it in a while, but his mother was divorced from his father, and so he was very, very, very close to his mother. And then she got remarried at like 8, when he was like 8 or 11. And up until that time, he would, his mother, he would like sleep in bed with her. Like at some point he'd be able to go in the room and sleep with her. He was always around her, always with her. And then she got married, and he remembered the night that she got married, going to that bedroom door and turning the lock, and the door was locked.
mm,
And it literally changed his life because
mm,
he no longer had access to her in that way. And they hadn't done what was needed to prepare him for that,
mm.
because that break was so immediate. It fractured his trust of the feminine, and it was never addressed. Like, so there's this how is it that we do things without addressing the children? It's because we think that they don't understand. Well, of course they understand what's going on. And when we don't handle it, manage it, do the work around it, that stuff then moves into your life as an adult. And so today, my friend still has very complicated relationships with women because he ultimately doesn't really trust them. He doesn't trust that who they are or how they're showing up is in his best interest. And so that plays out in his relationships today.
That's
And
that's
and he's 50, and he's 50 something years old.
wow. That's very important that you bring that up because I'm also divorced from my children's mother.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I mean we get along well. We have a great co-parenting relationship, but I still wonder what is the long-term effect that this will have on the children that may not show up until they get older and involved in their relationships.
Right.
But I'm thinking, by having this conversation, I'm thinking I need to check in on them more just to see, what they're thinking. How are they being affected? You
Right.
know. So yes, thank you for that.
Yeah,
Now,
you're welcome. Mm-hmm.
but yeah, that goes to my. Oh, Helene, you wanted to say something?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to know, in terms of your class.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you, let's say this gentleman,
Yeah.
once you become aware of it,
Yeah.
How do you mend that so that you can be whole? I know the little surface work that I've done around my abandonment issues have benefited me tremendously. And I've just done surface work.
Right.
So yeah. So how do you go in to repair that type of situation?
Well, what we do is we begin to tell ourselves new stories, because when we have those experiences with our mothers, we draw conclusions from those experiences. Oh, she didn't love me. I'm not lovable. And that is a frequency. The feelings, the conclusions that we draw create energy frequencies. And so when you create that frequency, I'm not lovable, I'm not worthy, she doesn't love me, then what happens is we get into relationships with women, and we start to we create behaviors around those belief systems. Right? So if you don't believe that you're worthy, you will create a behavior that matches that belief system of being unworthy. So then you're constantly in a conversation with your partner, like, you won't do this, and you don't do this, and you don't do this. But the reality is that you're creating it based upon the frequency that you have. And so the work is really about identifying where we are based upon what we experienced, and then beginning to change those belief systems to realize they're just belief systems. But there's some deep work that has to go on around what actually happened, because we have memories. Like, I have memories of my mother showing up to my kindergarten graduation drunk, right? Like, I remember being 5 years old and my mother, she was 23 at the graduation drunk or high. So that created an impact on me. That created an imprint. This bitch is not trustworthy. I'm 5, you know what I mean? So I've had to do the work to undo that, because what we take it so personally as children, or as adults, we understand that my mother was going through something.
Right.
She wasn't drinking because I wasn't worthy. She was drinking because she was in some pain of her own. And when we start to understand that, we understand how we inherit that pain. We inherit the stuff that goes unresolved with our mothers and fathers. Wow. It comes to us.
Well, okay, so now I'm like, even though as an adult, I came to the conclusion that my mother, didn't just abandon me. She didn't just put me, in the orphanage, because she didn't love me. I came to that conscious conclusion, but still in my subconscious mind, I'm still, going through the same,
that's right,
patterns and thought patterns. So I know that you're going to like go deep and get into the subconscious mind and change things around.
There's no other way to do it. You have to go into the subconscious. You have to start to restructure. You have to start to pull stuff out. So that's why this class is a deep class. This is not a class for people who are just. This class is for people who are ready to get free. That's what I'll say. If you're ready to get free, this class is for you.
Because I wanted to ask you, from your experience, do you really find that around these issues of healing these type of wounds, there's a lot of resistance that people have to even approaching these subjects, even going back and deep into their subconscious?
Yeah, it's painful. Who wants to go and deal with, I'll say this, right? And people might find this to be controversial, but I've struggled a lot with my relationships with men, and I have had experiences, and I'm not one of those women who's a victim when it comes to rape. I'll just say it that way, because I believe we create our realities, and if we're holding fear or wounds, then we draw in experiences that match us at that level. And I had an experience many years ago with a partner. He was a partner of mine, and I went to him and said, I was really distressed, and I was like, can I just hang out with you tonight? I don't want to be alone. I'm really sad and having a hard time. I just want to spend the night. And I was like, and I don't want to have sex, because I just wasn't in the place for sex. But he was somebody that was a regular lover, so it wasn't like I put myself in a situation that was unfamiliar to me. and I went to sleep, and when I woke up, he was trying to have sex with me. And when I told myself the truth about it, the absolute truth, I knew that he was a person who couldn't take care of me because he couldn't take care of himself well. Like, I knew I was asking him to do something that was me, like the little girl in me wanting to be protected by a man. But he wasn't the man who could do it because he had his own wounds. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I placed myself in a situation where failure was imminent. And I knew it going in my subconscious. I knew it, which is why I had conversations with him about it. Because he was somebody that I knew really couldn't do it. And when it happened and after it was over with, I asked myself, what was really going on with you there? And I was like, it was like I needed to, like, it was born out of my deep unworthiness. Like, I still was carrying a deep experience of feeling unworthy of love. And so this man showed up and his behavior was in alignment with me feeling unworthy. He couldn't give me the thing that I needed and wanted. And so typically what we would do is blame the person. He did this, he did that. But we co-create these situations. And I knew that experience that I had was truly because I would put my worthiness, my care in the hands of somebody who I knew wasn't capable of giving it to me.
Wow.
That's a hard pill for the average woman to embrace. You know,
I understand, but we won't heal until we can start to tell the truth. We have to tell the truth. And I'm
down with you. Yeah, I'm down.
Right.
But the reality is most people, like I remember I was told when I first came into the base camp that I created my reality.
Yeah.
I'm like, how the hell can I be the one responsible for being placed in the damn orphanage? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What is this base camp that you speak of?
Oh, the Juju Mama Love Academy.
Oh, okay. Okay. I just wanted.
Yeah, that's a good question. But yeah, I just couldn't accept that in my mind until I started doing the work, and I came to realize that it was a I would say even necessary situation to happen to me in order for me to grow into becoming the man that I am.
Right.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing to realize. So here's the thing: people like to believe in the law of attraction, right? Everybody want to get on the bandwagon for the law of attraction until they attract some shit that they don't want, right?
Right.
Then it's somebody else's fault. It's the law of attraction is always working. If you like it and if you don't, you attracted it, and you attracted it by your frequency and your vibration. That's it. There is no other thing. Nothing is happening outside of our frequency invitation. So that includes all the stuff you love and all the stuff you hate. It's just how it is. It's who we are. We are magnetic beings. We're only attracting to us that which we put out.
Well, I see that as a very empowering message. But what we want to do right now, we just want to take a quick pause for the cause and invite everyone to visit our website, www.qualityheartbeats.com, and check out our new product called Sweet and Tight. Haleen, could you get into a description of the product and the benefits of taking Sweet and Tight?
So Sweet and Tight, we come to this conclusion that the female anatomy is self-healing. It's a natural environment, like the universe. So what we've done, we use nature's original pattern, which is the woman naturally detox every month. She has a monthly, and she pulls the toxins out of her system. And we know that what we eat affects the way that we are, the way that we, our sense, our taste, everything is affected by the way that by what we eat. So we put the product together. We use apple cider vinegar, bentonite clay to pull toxins out of the system at the cellular level. It goes deep and pull those toxins out which leaves the woman's vaginal region at its proper pH level. And that in and of itself creates an environment for healing. You know, the proper nutrients are deposited there, and she just stays healthy. Then we added the fruit extracts to add that special taste. So individuals who are in the love of oral can just satisfy themselves there, but it's also for the woman's health purposes as well.
Indeed. So you hit go to qualityheartbeats.com, scroll down, click on Sweet and Tight, and get that product for yourself and for a loved one. All right. So another question I have for you.
I'm sorry, you guys are selling something for women's vaginas. That is so fantastic.
Yes.
You guys are after your own pleasure. You're like, we're gonna give the ladies what we want them to have. So when we get in there, it's sweet and tight.
That's right. Hey, look, ain't no shame.
We're gonna create a solution here because we didn't had enough sour and loose. So we're gonna create a product.
But you know,
you something else.
Because this product here, it also helps satisfy the women. It makes the man taste sweet as well.
Ooh, I like it. Whatever it is, give me some of it.
Okay.
All right. Okay. All right.
Let's get back into this conversation now.
Okay.
Do you feel all right? Living in this society is challenging. Living in this society.
Yes.
And we know why. You know, the way of life, the culture, the level of ignorance when it comes to the spiritual self, when it comes to to women, when it comes to women, and even men. The level of ignorance when it comes to men having knowledge about our own manhood. Right. And so therefore we take this ignorance oftentimes into our parenting situations where now we have to parent our children. Do you think, through your studies, do you think that there are ways that we can minimize the damage that we as parents do unintentionally to children so that there will be less trauma for them to work through once they become adults?
Absolutely. Great question. So here's the first thing that we can do that is so helpful. It's not necessarily the easiest thing, but it is a really supportive thing, is when you think about your children, like I was saying earlier on a video that I did on Facebook, science has now proven that when women, through the study of women who died, who are mothers, that when they examined their brains at the time of death, these are women who lived into their 90s and things like that. They were studying Alzheimer's. What did they find in the brains of these women, these mothers? The cells of their children, especially their sons. Yes.
Really?
Yes, really.
Huh.
The cells, yes.
The cells in their brain was found in the cells of their children?
Yes.
I never heard that before.
Okay, you can do a little research on it. And so what happens is, what we're thinking about, our thoughts are frequencies, like our cell phone sends out a frequency, our thoughts send out a frequency. And so if you're worrying about your children, if you are worrying about your children, you're sending a negative frequency out to them if you're worrying about them.
That's very important to know.
Yes, right? So all these people worried about your children getting stopped by the police and all, you cannot worry about your children and have them be safe and secure. If you want your children to be safe and secure, pray for their happiness, pray for their safety, get them involved in things that make them happy, get them involved in things that up level their frequencies.
Man, that's powerful. That's powerful.
Very powerful.
Yeah, that's powerful.
So
simple. It's a simple thing too, right?
Yeah, if we could infuse that into our culture, like if this was not just something that we're discussing on an individual basis. But if
Right.
we come to situation where we put it into our music and it becomes a message that we send through our entertainment, and it becomes
Yes,
our reality.
but it starts like this. It
Yeah,
starts like
absolutely.
this.
Absolutely.
It does. Okay. Mm-hmm.
So basically, you're saying to minimize the damage, like a lot of damage we do to our children unintentionally,
Mm-hmm.
is basically the fears that we projecting, that we have taken in on society, the worrying, the fears, and of course the incorrect information we give them,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
projecting that on them. But we
Right.
would do better by having faith, having positive expectations of them,
Mm-hmm.
and having high
Mm-hmm.
expectations of them.
Yeah.
So the cells of the children found in the mother's brain, is that like a biological thing, or is that because she was worried about them?
No. That's just a biological thing. That's just
Oh,
happens. That's just biology. But what I know based upon it, so that's a scientific study. That's not a spiritual study. But
gotcha.
what I know based upon the spirit of it
Mhm.
is that if anything you're thinking about, you're impacting. So just for instance, today, I had this thing happen. One of my she's in the JLA community. Her name is Jade. We were on the phone the other day, and she was upset because her dog was lost, and she was really, really, really upset. And I have a friend who does animal communication. Jade lives in Baltimore. My girlfriend who does animal communication lives in Boston. I called her and I said, "Can you send out a signal to tell me where the dog is?" Just with your mind, right?
Mhm.
And she said, "Okay." And I kind of I know what it is, but I kind of was like, all right. But I just wanted to kind of test it out. 2 days later, she sends me a text message going, she said, "I can sense that the dog is just wandering. The dog is just wandering lost. And tell your friend to sit down in her house where she is and call the dog to her with her thoughts, see the dog at home, see the dog, tell the dog to come home, tell the dog that she's waiting, see the dog in the space." I told my girlfriend that this morning, and then an hour ago, my girlfriend called me and said the dog came home. The dog has been gone for like 4 or 5 days. So we need to understand who the fuck we are, okay? That's what I'm saying, right? That's the kind of technology we have. But it gets blocked by trauma. It gets blocked by fear and worry. Your signal has to be clear.
That's right.
You cannot be in a space of. That's why if you study any sort of comedic spirituality, it says you have to keep your heart light, right? If you keep your heart light, then your signal goes through. But if your heart is heavy, your signal's not going through. That dog came home.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
That is
So
very
if you can connect to a dog like that, think about how you can connect to your children.
That's right. Wonderful.
Yeah, I got to take that course.
You got to take it.
This is
So go ahead, something.
No, you go ahead, Holly.
No, I was going to ask her to give us some details. Do you want to talk about the cost of it? Anything about the particulars of the course?
Sure. So the course is a 30-day course, and there are 5 lectures in that course, and it also will include a private Facebook group because I want to create a tight container so that people feel safe to do the work.
Yes.
And it's a spiritual course, so it's going to include meditation, but also doing work around your relationship with your mother. But you will not have to go talk to your mother unless you want to. Because guess what? You can send the signals. You don't have to have a conversation with them in order to do that. The course, for people who are not JLA members, the course is $297 for early registration. After the early registration, which is over April 20th, it'll be $397. But for JLA members, it's $197 the entire time. So what you get for $197 or $200 is life changing. Like
absolutely,
the course is worth. It's priceless. Really, it's priceless. So I'm charging you for my time.
right.
Because I can't. This is a divine guided course, so I can't charge you for what spirit
That's right.
creates.
Yeah.
So
Worthy.
Monique,
Worthy.
well, one last question.
Yes.
What pressures do you feel are on women of today's society that may interfere with their ability to be healthy, optimal mothers?
Mm. Wow, that's so beautiful. Oh, so let me say, this culture really ticks me off because we don't have community anymore, and just like those of us who believe that one lover can't do everything for you, or one partner is not going to meet your every need. One woman, one mother is not enough for a child. We really need a village for our children. And you can't do it alone and be, because you have to take care of yourself first, right? You have to be healthy. And if you are a mother to 3 or 4 or 5 children, or even one, like you're cheating yourself, and you're cheating your children, because you need a community. And now we're so driven by capitalism. Everybody's at work. 70-year-old people are at work, not because they want to be, but because they have to be. And so where are the people that are able to slow down and sit with the children and just create safe spaces, because everybody's working? So I think the greatest thing that is the most painful impact is that we're overextended, and we don't have communities anymore where we can come together, and you're everybody's mother. You know what I mean? So it's like every child in here, whether I gave birth to them or not, they are my child. I am their mother. The same is true for fathers. Every child in my sight, I am their father. It's like that communal understanding that we are raising one another. Is not available in a way that we need it. And so I think that's the greatest failure that we're having right now.
And there's so many of us that really long for that, deep in our hearts and spirits. So it's something that we're going to have to get to the point where we can actually create this experience.
Yeah.
Again. So look, Monique, we definitely Miss Ruffin. We definitely want to thank you.
Thank you
for joining us today. You've given a wonderful contribution to our show, great insight. But before we leave, could you give the people your contact information again, and how to and especially contact you about your course as well?
Okay, great. Yes. So for my course, you can find me at Monique Ruffin on Facebook. If you send me a private message, I always get back to private messages. You can find me on Instagram at Monique Ruffin. And my course, if you go to Juju Mama and type in Finding Our Mothers, jujumama.com or jla.jujumama.com, and type in Finding Our Mothers, and you will be able to find the course there. Or you can come and find it in my social media pages. It's there as well. And you can just sign up for my emails, and you'll get emails that let you know when the course is starting and what you'll need for the course and how much the course costs and all that sort of stuff. Everything there is provided there.
Thank you so much.
So, we definitely would appreciated this particular interview. You were very profound. And you came from your humanity, your heart. There was definitely a heart connection. And we would like to have you back again to speak on the various spiritual matters that you master.
Okay, thank you, Halim. It's my pleasure. Halim and Simbi, I enjoy both of you very much. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes, and we want to thank the audience for watching the Harmony and Strength Show. We pray that you receive something beneficial tonight that you can put to good use towards your optimal living experience. And we're going to close out again with our commercial.
Keep it sweet and tight.
That's right.
Come, experience the wonders of sweet and tight. We follow nature's way by going deep at the cellular level to pull toxins out of your body, leaving you fresh as spring. A freshness that carries the hypnotic fragrance of pheromones, inducing a sweet surrender. When used regularly, this special blend of fruit extracts will allow you and your partner to enjoy the continued sweetness of your feminine nectar. Order now at www.qualityheartbeat.com.